Lion Steve, will you please lead us off in our invocation?
Thank you, Lord, for allowing us to gather here today as Lions and friends. We pray your blessing on those that cannot be with us. We pray a special blessing on the Bradley family at the loss of one of our lions and a great friend. We pray a blessing on the food that we eat today, that it will strengthen our bodies and strengthen our love for you and for each other. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Lion Gary, would you please lead us in our pledge?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Past District Governor Marilyn, will you please lead us in song?
Yes. My country is of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of thy pilgrims died, from every mountainside, let freedom ring.
Thank you. No. I don't scare daddies. Lion Teamers, do we have any guests this morning? Or afternoon?
President Sharon, fellow Lions, we have 3 guests today. Mike Parker, grandson Joey, and our 2 guest speakers that Hal Palmer will introduce later.
Okay, thank you so much, Lion J.
Let Mike introduce himself. This is my grandson Joey, and he has expressed, he lost his mind for a minute, he expressed interest about joining the club.
We're so glad to have you.
Stories about your grandfather. True.
We'll have plenty of guys involved in response.
I couldn't sponsor.
Excuse me. Lion Penny, Sunshine Report, please.
President Sharon, fellow Lions and guests, 2 things. Number 1, Bob Bradley's service will be November 22nd here at the Eagles from 2 to 6. If the date changes, Gail will let us know. There might be a conflict, but that's what it is for right now. And then the second thing is Dale Wheeler, who is finally back after his long journey with his wound, went to see his parents who have been kind of failing over the last year. And he knew going was a risk that he might endanger his wound again, and unfortunately he did. So he is home, but he will not be coming in again for a while because they're doing wound care again. So, and there is a card back here for him.
That's unfortunate, thank you. All right.
Rock and roll.
Rock and roll. Go hard. Happy Bucks, thank you. Yes, go ahead.
President Sharon, fellow Lions and guests, I'm the person that bothered you about the visitations, and we have one coming up. It's the one on October 16th, which is Saturday. It's the Caslammet or Wakayakum Lions, and it's going to be at 16 Fairgrounds Road, Skamakawa Valley, Washington. This is a zone meeting, so if you need to fulfill any of your requirements, you might want to consider that. Their dinner is lasagna. The cost is $15. It's optional. If you don't want to eat, you don't have to. And that is Thursday. 16.
Thursday.
Okay, moving right along. Okay. Past President Pat Palmer, please rise.
Good afternoon, President Sharon, fellow Lions and guests. It's been a busy week since I saw you last. Let's see, had to have my notes because things happen, you know. Las Vegas was absolutely fantastic. Went to 2 NASCAR races. That's an experience I don't think I have to repeat, but it was pretty darn fun anyway. Also saw the John Wick experience. So if you end up going to Vegas, you got to go. It's really fun, super, super fun. I did end up making a sizable donation to the community of Las Vegas, and other than that, I got a pretty quiet week coming on because my Jerry is in Hawaii on a girls' week trip. So here's the sad news. I had to go downstairs and get my own coffee this morning. It was really kind of tough. And probably the most important part, got a text from Lion Phil Olson this morning saying that he misses us all very much, and he just wanted to share that his brotherhood in the Pioneer Lions is still strong in his heart.
You want some cheese with that wine?
Hey.
Just checking. Did you receive anything back from the city of Las Vegas?
No diseases, so that's good.
I read the cohort that went to Longview won money.
Yeah.
Oh, just not you. No money, huh?
My protege did very well.
That figures. Lion Judy.
Okay. President Sharon, fellow Lions and guests. I have one probably sad dollar, but no.
That daughter too, we don't have.
That was a Freudian slip. I love it.
Anyway, my stepmom passed away Saturday. She was 104 and 10 months. And it was a blessing, really. She'd been in a lot of pain. But anyway, it's quite a life.
Oh, so sorry for me. Lion David, I understand. Yeah, there you go.
Well, President, good afternoon, President Sharon, fellow Lions and guests. So, I have a happy dollar because, believe it or not, I actually found something online. So it's not just a happy dollar. And I found this phone that is 699 bucks, and I want this. It's called a Blind Shell Classic 3. Has anybody heard of that?
No.
Nobody's heard of Blind Shell Classic 3. Well, it's for the blind, obviously, and it's all button controlled, but there's also a screen reader on it. And so it loads things really, really fast. And so that's one of the reasons why I kind of want that, because I looked at it and I'm like, oh, this will be great for me to get for for at least $6.99 if I can ever afford it. So, so that's one of the reasons why I brought it up, because I might need you guys, maybe the Sight and Hearing Foundation can help with that or something. I don't know, we'll just have to see. But that's my happy buck.
Hey, David, right behind you. There you go. Excellent.
Thank you, David.
Pass District Governor. Mark.
President Sharon, fellow Lions and guests, weekly $5. First of all, an update on my wife. She continues to heal, rather slowly, but she continues to heal, so that's helpful. Dollar number 2 is I heard some interesting information this morning on KLG on the news. The Magic 8 Ball is older than I am. I mean, I couldn't believe it's not that old. It's not as old as John Claypool, but it's really pretty old. It's amazing. I think it's 75 years old is what they said. Quote of the week today. This is from Rachel Marie Martin. And I tried to find something that was somewhat tied into our program, and it also is important for Lions, I think. Life gets busy. Doing, giving, helping, teaching, showing up, loving, caring. It's easy to run on fumes. But you must remember to fuel your own heart, your dreams, your passion, your health, you. Because you cannot give if you are empty. You matter too.
Hey, very nice. All right. President John Claypool.
President Sharon. No. Fellow Lions and guests, I hate to admit, but I badmouthed the Mariners for about 15 years. And I have to admit, Frank, you know what I'm talking about. The last two games have been the most exciting TV I've watched in 20 years. I love the game, and I love it that the Mariners are having a little success.
It's not over yet.
I used to be of that opinion, Dave. It was just natural. I still wish they'd bunt the ball once in a while when they've got a guy on second base, but that's another story. My other dollar is that I'm happy to see Frank here. Katie, nice to meet you.
And past District Governor Marilyn Patterson.
President Sharon, fellow Lions and guests, as you may have noticed, we were missing last week, so we spent a whole week, 8 days in Ohio. You didn't miss us, Steve, they didn't miss us.
We miss you, Marilyn.
Along with Ohio, we were kept so busy, we are so tired. And this happy dollar, John, I'm going to tell you about the Mariners. We got to watch the games in Ohio, and then it was a bonus. We were in the airplane last night while they were playing, and Delta provides you with a TV screen. So we were fortunate enough to watch that game and the Dodgers. So that was kind of cool.
Marilyn, what?
Marilyn, who's the guy you're with in a suit and a tie?
Yeah.
In the picture?
Couldn't be him.
No, I looking to
buy a horse.
Betting on the ponies, are we? Hello, past District Governor Steve.
President Sharon, Lions and guests, happy dollar. That was we were at the track. We managed to, well, I did. Nobody else gambled but me, and I bet on a little pony, and doggone it, the little fella didn't just come right in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Interesting story about our cat. Thanks to Ann Camarda, she comes out and she feeds and waters our cat while we were away. Well, it goes and hides underneath the bed, so she never gets to see it. So we get home this morning early, and he's still mad at us. So he takes off and he's in the other bedroom under the bed. I haven't seen our cat yet.
And said he's still there.
I can't believe it. You better watch out, or he'll be looking for a new place to live. And finally, yes, we spent as many years rooting for the Mariners as everybody else, and to see the kind of success that they're having is a lot of fun.
True. Very much. Okay, past President Cindy.
President Sharon, fellow Lions and guests, I have a sad dollar for my first dollar. Jim and I went to a memorial service on Saturday for a friend that I've known since I was 16. Now here's a little background on this gentleman. He was like 3 years older than I was. He was in construction. He was a roofer, and he was doing the roof at the ice cream plant in Tillamook. Fell through the roof 30 feet down, hit concrete, lived. Years later, he's back to walking again. He's back on his track. Gets diagnosed with stage 4 liver cancer. 2 weeks later, he's gone. It was kind of a bummer. You know, he survived all that other stuff, all the rehab, and for that to go that quick, I guess the happy part of that is that he was no longer in pain. On a different note, I pulled my garden. I've got tomatoes on my freezer in a brown paper bag getting ripened because they're green, and we're waiting for next year.
I agree with that. Greg?
President Sharon, fellow Lions guests, couple bucks today. First one, this is information dollar for John Searing. I got a call this morning. He was over at the fairgrounds ready for the work party. That's tomorrow, John. You only get credit for one work party. The other dollar. The other dollar is an information dollar for Mike Parker. It's nice to see him with his grandson Joey here. Joey's a pretty nice kid. He'd be a hell of an improvement over Mike.
Mike, did you meet him at Safeway?
There you go. Yeah, I'm sorry, Joey. This group is something else. Pass those there, Steve. Johnston. Thank you.
President Sharon, for Lions and guests, here I got $5 here. Now they're all happy. I'll be leaving tomorrow for Arizona for a few days, and I won't be here next week. No, and then I'll be in Texas the following week. So, no, I won't be thinking about you.
Thank you for not lying. Well, hello, past District Governor Michael Parker and guest.
President Sharon, fellow lives and guests, just a information dollar. I saw Keith Stark the other day, and he's getting his health issues squared away, and he should be back at meetings soon.
Yay! Okay, yes, oh yeah, stick it on your forehead. It probably would work better. Hey, wait. You dropped a pen. Past council chair. Hal.
Thank you, President Sharon, fellow Lions and guests. Would you like my pin? Okay. First happy dollar. My wife is back substitute teaching this week. Now, why is that happy? Because she's older than I am, she's teaching, and she's not painting a trailer. She is a lot happier. Second happy dollar, I got an application on it, so pretty soon that will be calmed down. Third happy dollar, let me see if I can remember somebody out there happy. Well, the sad dollar for Bob I paid for last week. But I would like to finish up with, I am so sorry. I will be in Las Vegas next week.
Recover your brother's money?
Where do I find South Point? That's right, I heard.
South Point. Yes, it's South Point. And so you too will be donating money to the city of Las Vegas?
I never do that.
Oh, right. Sure. Anybody else? Did I miss anyone? Oh, Pat, what is this, a repeat performance? Okay. I know. You're not the program, Pat.
President, Chair, fellow Lions and guests, I was sitting back here trying to figure out what it was I was forgetting, and then I remembered it. After the NASCAR race on Saturday, saw Lion Dwayne Smith, who happened to be at South Point, and he had just gotten through seeing a magician and another singer, and he had a couple of hours, an hour and a half, I think, between his next show. So I went down to the lobby and spent an hour with him, just chatting, having a beverage. And then he was off to go see the Spasmatics. Think about how you know Dwayne Smith. Look up the Spasmatics. And he was like, I can't wait to see this show. Anyway.
Okay, President Sharon, I believe.
I think I'm gonna have to go look up the Spasmatics now.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm just gonna stand up here just to say I'm handing this over to past council Joey Howard Palmer.
Thank you very much, President Sharon. I'd like to share a quick story with you before we start. How many here remember a lion by the name of Gene DePriest? Okay, many of us do. Two things that I remember the most about Lion Gene was that he was in the hospital with a serious ailment. And he said it was really, really rough. He flipped over to a TV station where my brother and I were talking about Pioneer Lions and the old, I forget the name of the show. And he said he never laughed so hard. He said, you guys basically laughed me out of the hospital. You know, I think it's an appropriate story for our Mental Health Awareness Month, because the humor that we do in love, and we do in caring. And I think if you look around here at anybody who has not experienced that love, it's going to come pretty soon, because things happen. During Mental Health Month, we had Leslie last week, and this time we have Core Health. We have two people from the Core Health Project. One is Katie Allen. She's a licensed independent clinical social worker who has been with Core Health since 2016. She came after relocating to the area from Seattle and after her first child was born. Prior to working with Core Health, she had worked with high-risk youth and adults involved in the criminal justice system. And she's worked as a social worker since 2009, and she is the chief clinical supervisor. But first, you have to hear from Frank Morrison. Yeah. Do you realize back in 2012 he took over at the Community House on Broadway?
Yes.
How many remember the financial challenges they had back then? Yes. Frank is the one that guided the group to where it is today. Yes, Frank. He noticed the need in our community for mental health and substance use services and the correlation it had with homeless. His goal is to provide mental health and substance use services on site. And then in 2015, he founded Core Health. Now, I wish Tom Chamberlain was here, because there's a little factoid about Frank. He was drafted by the Baltimore Orioles. So, during baseball month, here's another man of October, Frank Morrison.
Thank you, Al. Yeah, you're talking about 6'6" Tom Chamberlain, right?
Right, absolutely.
Played for the Cardinals? Yeah, or at least AAA. He was my coach my freshman year in college here at LCC. So, great man. I'm gonna move this little stool thing so I don't trip. Plus, I don't want to be too tall. Plug down there, okay, great. Well, anyhow, I started in 2012 as director at Community House. Prior to that, I pastored for 5 years at North Lake Baptist Church as an associate pastor. Prior to that, I worked for Woods Logging Supply for 25 years, doing sales, purchasing, and managerial stuff, and rigging. So that experience there, along with, I'm married for 40 years now. My wife and I, we adopted 5 kids, 3 biological. The 5 kids we adopted, this is how we God kind of grew us into this. And we didn't know which direction things were heading. I was just trying to follow God. And so the 5 kids that we took in, we took 2 in 1994 and then 3 more in 2011. So, and they're all the same mom, different dads. So with that, brought about a whole bunch of experiences with the local system and trying to get help for one that had severe mental health issues. And so our daughter Annie was bipolar, and you know, she handles it well right now. She's been married for about 10 years and has 4 kids and living down in Arizona. But it was really grueling work. It was really difficult to manage and advocate. So that, when I stepped into Community House, I had this vision of doing something for the people at Community House like we did for our kids. However, I was going to have to start something. And I talked to Phyllis Cavins and some of the local leaders in health and asked them, I said, hey, you know, I'm trying to get mental health counselors to Community House and drug and alcohol counselors, but it doesn't seem to work, you know. And so I decided to, you know, tell them, well, I'd like to start our own. And God really worked this out because, and this is an unfortunate part of it, the birth mom to the 5 kids that we adopted passed away just 2 years after we brought the last 3 kids in. And so I did her memorial service, and at her service there was a gal named Stacy Crutcher McFadden. She was a mental health counselor that helped people with domestic violence and anger management. And so when I met her at the service, I said, you know, hey, I'm over at Community House leading, and it's about 80, 90 people. Everyone has mental health issues, you know, we all got it, right?
Yeah.
And then chemical dependency issues, you know, things to overcome. And I need professionals, so I need to start some. Could I get your number? And just in case I'm gonna start some, you know, maybe would you be interested in helping? Well, she kind of shirked it off, gave me her number. Well, that's when the 5 doctors and their spouses gave the internal medicine clinic to us. So now, that was December 2013, just 2 months after that memorial service. We got that building from those doctors and their spouses, and I called that gal, and she said, sure, I'll come and work for you as long as I can continue my own business. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. 9 months later, we got the license. Now, in the midst of all of this stuff, things were happening at Community House that kind of changed the dynamic at Community House. When I started, there wasn't a whole lot of kids. You know, it might have been 10 or 15 kids. But what we did in 2014 is we stopped feeding the non-residents because they were bringing in a lot of virus. And we had a flu season so bad I was losing a bunch of staff, so we put it on pause, let Salvation Army continue to feed, and we'll just focus on those that are wanting to get recovery. And so when we did that, I ended up with like 60 adults and 60 children for a solid month in October 2014. I can't forget that. And what happened was, it was pronounced significantly because 80% of the families that came into Community House, single moms. And it's been that way ever since, 70 to 80% single moms. And so, if you want to talk about a vulnerable population you've got to reach in order to get ahead of this eventually, is you got to get to the kids and you got to get to the moms. And those kids can keep mom in this tipsy-turvy world of overwhelmedness where she's going to self-medicate. You know, you can understand that. And so that happened, and so we started, got a contract January 2015, and so I had only like a dozen staff, you know, and so through 2014 I started to develop peer counselors. That's people that have been through mental health themselves. They come out on the other side and they're functional, and they know how to handle their triggers and all that kind of stuff. And those that have came through addiction. Those people can see things that someone that hasn't been around a lot of addiction that others can't see. They know the signs, they know the strategies, they know the whole 9 yards. And so that was very valuable. 60% of the people that come to Community House are coming out of addiction. So in 2017, I finally got the addiction treatment. We had mental health 2015. 2017, we finally got drug and alcohol counseling going, and Medicaid decided to fund supportive housing, supportive employment services because it's attached to your mental health. And so we were able to do that in 2017. And 2017, we started another branch up in Lewis County for Core Health. Mark Bollinger, the guy that headed up the region, they said they need another branch up there. So we started up there. And I'm so sorry with these dates, but this is how it rolled out. 2018, we bought, King's House of Travel, you know that building where Frank was? We bought that so that when the people move out of Community House, they continue their drug and alcohol treatment so that they can continue on with the relationships they've already established. with our staff, with the familiarity. We got diapers and groceries, we'll help you. And so we bought that building for supportive housing and treatment. And then 2020, we had a situation where I was walking upstairs at Community House, walked by this gal. She'd been stuck upstairs for 2 months at Community House. And she was like 75 years old on oxygen. And I was like broken, thinking that they didn't even say anything. So that wasn't all that, there was more of that than we ever knew. So Core Health, by the time 2020 hit, we had enough money to buy the Park Royal Nursing Home. And that had area for 45 people to sleep that are medically fragile. They can't go up and down the stairs, high psychosis. And so we bought that, and Community House branched and had the medically fragile site. That's a big deal. We get about 20% of the people out of the hospital that live there, so they're recovering from surgery and they need continued care. In 2021, we had a kid hit by a car at Community House. He ran out in the street to get a ball, and a car hit him, and he flew like 6 feet in the air. And he was like 7 or 8 years old. He thought he was in trouble because he got hurt, but he got up and ran because he was so scared that he'd get in trouble. Poor thing. And it was like a hit and run. So, long story short, he was better. He had bruises and stuff, but he was okay. But I knew with 50 or 60 kids on that corner in the summertime, when there's no AC upstairs, they're going to be outside, and there's a good probability they can get seriously hurt. So, through the years, I kind of thought about, how am I going to do this? We tried to satellite to Broadway campus or other areas to get the kids to play in a playground. Well, instead, the state had said, hey, we want to serve more youth in mental health and chemical dependency. So I said, well, here I got an idea. I got an idea where I create an activity center, a place where the kids will come and play in an arcade, and all these different activities where the kids will want to show up. Because the reality is, you get about 25% no-show rate in the regular part of the year, and it'll jump to 40% in the summertime. And agencies can't afford to keep that staff. And they lay them off for the summer, and then they hire them back on in the fall. Well, that doesn't work. So, long story short, first time they said, no, we're going to pass. And then they called me back 6 months later, and they said, hey, tell me that story again. And I said, well, told them the story, and they said, okay, you'll be hearing from us. They gave us $2.2 million to buy and build out. That's where we bought the Cortons building, which had been desolate for a decade. And so, once again, it ended up being a very powerful tool for mental health, chemical dependency, but you can't tell when you're driving by. We sell Grizzly Shakes where some of the kids work. We do activities throughout the summer, like 60 kids a day will be there, and we'll be doing stuff. In the morning, 3 hours of elementary. In the afternoon, 3 hours of junior high, senior high. And we do after school every day. It's pretty extensive work because you're dealing with kids that struggle with mental health, anxiety, ADHD, depression, suicidal ideation, big deal. Katie will talk about that. I'm almost to the finish here. Beth's Place. During Ascent, the Cortons building that's called Ascent Youth Center, we notice that there's a lot of kids that are running into, they don't really have a steady home to go to. They don't have any place to go. And one time we had one of our clinicians say, where do I drop her off? And the girl said, just drop me off at Safeway. And Safeway on 15th is not the best location. And that's where she had him drop off at. And she walks away with an elderly man. And probably just to have a place to stay. and she might have even prostituted herself. We're like, we gotta do something, this is ridiculous. Plus, we had a gal, stage 4 cancer, with 2 kids living in the shelter at community house. Well, it's a policy, anyone under 18 can't live alone at community house, right? Well, now the mom has stage 4 cancer, they're 14 and 17, so we ended up having the mom go live at Chess after it got so bad the kids couldn't watch it anymore. We took care of the 17 and 14-year-old. They stayed with us for a full year. She passed, and then we had the kids in our custody. And we're like, oh man. So we got the boy into vocational rehab, or Job Corps, I should say. And then the girl, we found family in Pennsylvania for her. All that to say is, we knew that we have a youth problem of homelessness, unaccompanied youth. And so we did that study, found out that there's a lot of need there. So, Beth's Place came along. A lot of you know my daughter passed in August of 2023, and when that happened, that just stamped in our hearts. Mariah loved kids, and she loved to work for us when she was healthy. And she was a sweetheart. Her middle name is Beth. Beth means house in Hebrew. So that's why we called it Beth's Place. And so they're 13 to 17-year-olds. They gave us $5 million from the state, $2 million from the county. We built it out and bought it and all right next to community house. And now we've had about 50 kids so far this year. It opened in January. And we've had about 50 kids. And we usually run 12. We've had as many as 17 kids. We can have up to 24 kids. And so, yeah, now that I've overwhelmed you, and we started with 12 staff in 2015, now we're at 230 for Core Health, and Community House has about 40, because there's 3 shelters now, and about 170 residents. So all that to say is, God has grown us to meet this need. We need your help for the community house side, but know that Core Health was established for community house, the homeless population, and the kids. Katie, why don't you come on up? Core Health serves 2,300 clients a month now. So, yeah.
Awesome, thank you so much, Frank. Yeah, I might need sure, yeah, or else you just see my forehead. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, well, Frank is quite the visionary, as you've heard. So all these incredible programs, he's just been so gifted at finding those gaps in the community. And so really that vision of opening the Core Health to serve the homeless and serve the shelter programs we have has just been so successful, because we really value serving people in their natural environment. So that's been kind of a critical piece and a foundational piece to what we do. So in the work that our Core Health side does with people, we're really trying to meet them in their natural environment so we can utilize those counseling skills in real time for them, in real situations and real places that apply to them. So that means going to the shelters, going to the schools and doing all those things. But what we're also doing is utilizing what we call like a wraparound approach. So really what that means is we have one client, and then around the client, we surround this client with all these different levels of professionals. And so it's really successful because we have our peer counselors, who some of them have been at some point a consumer themselves, but have rehabilitated themselves and now are making a difference in the community and utilizing their lived experience to support people. We of course have our trained therapists, our master's level and bachelor's level trained therapists. We have our psychiatric medication prescribers. We have our case managers who are doing supportive housing, supportive employment. And we have our substance use professionals. So our clients just get a complete wraparound approach to support them in their recovery. And so that's a huge part of what we do, is this wraparound approach. And then, like I said, we're really trying to serve people in the community. So Frank's gone over all those different sites that opened, but we are known to go into the schools as well. We're known to be walking down Commerce with our clients and helping them navigate the community. We are running groups. We're doing so many different methods of engaging people in this model. So this model also, we're making a difference in the community, but we are also working on like reducing high utilization of emergency departments and reducing likelihood of people incarcerations and all those things. So it really does make a difference in the community. We're making a difference in individual lives, but then just as a community as a whole. And so that's a pretty important piece of what we do. So Frank passed out a tool called the Core Card, and this is just an example of some of the amazing things that we do. And so, yeah, I'll have you go to the next slide, and I'm going to briefly touch on this. I was talking about how we do so much in the natural environment, and so this is just a breakdown of some statistics on what we do in the natural environment. So 44% was in our offices. 29% were meeting with kids at school, which is very helpful because it can be really hard for parents to get kids to us, right? So that really helps our success, is being able to meet the kids there. We have 7% at shelters. We have 12% telehealth, so we want to be as accessible to people as possible. So because of COVID really made telehealth so much more accessible to people. So we do a little bit of telehealth as well, and then just other stuff. So in the midst of this, these services that we do, we're utilizing individual sessions, we're doing group, and a ton of incredible things. You can go to the next slide. Awesome. So this slide shows you the different evidence-based practices that we use. So we're training all of our staff in the best practices, which means that the evidence shows that these interventions work for people to get better in mental health. So one of the big ones, as you guys can see on here, you'll see an acronym that's CBT. That stands for Cognitive Behavioral Therapy. And that just means that we're using people's thinking and behaviors to help them heal their mental health. And so we use... Like Kelsey's Choice, right? Yeah, and so Frank's little thing there, that's Kelsey's Choice is a version of CBT. We also went to Seattle Children's Hospital and trained our staff with the psychiatric inpatient team at Seattle Children's, trained our staff on how they approach working with kids who are inpatient. So when we did that, we learned about they call them trigger cards. So we have kind of utilized the same model, and we call ours core cards. This is just an example of what we may do. So this core card, on one side you'll see it says triggers there on the left and a stress response. So we would complete this with an individual, youth or an adult, and we would be in session kind of identifying what are those triggers that really impact your mental health. So we would document that down. And then they would evaluate, gosh, what's my stress response? So I don't know if you guys have heard of like the fight, flight, freeze response. So we would be helping them learn about what stress response applies to me. Because I might be a fighter in my stress response, but somebody else might be a freezer or a flighter, right? So they need to know that. And on the back side, they can write out what their goals are, and then what objectives they can do, so what they can do for themselves, and then what interventions, what their support people can help them with. So this becomes basically a mini treatment plan and a mini crisis plan. So what they can do is they have now a plan that they can pull out of their pocket, they can fold this up, and they can take this with them, we can give it to teachers, we can give it to the shelter staff, we can give it to whomever, and then the client knows, oh yeah, that mindfulness activity that my therapist did with me really was helpful. So in the midst of the stress response, when your brain's not thinking clearly, you have this nice reminder. So it's just an example of CBT. We do a variety of other things. We trained our staff, some of our staff in EMDR, that's the eye movement trauma therapy, that's very successful. We do a lot of some of those smaller little pies there that are unlabeled. We do a lot of like family-based interventions, so Gottman emotion coaching, I don't know if you guys have heard of John Gottman, is also another really important one for us, because like Frank said, in the shelters, we have all these families, a lot of them single moms, but just families in general. And in the midst of that stress and those traumas that people are going through, parenting is hard. For one, parenting is hard without traumas and stressors, but then add in traumas and stressors and then it's hard. So we're trying to do as much of this giving parents skills of how to manage their own mental health, but then also here's how we connect as a family and bond, because we know connection with parenting is one of the most beautiful gifts you can give a child, right? Is this attachment piece with your parent. So we're teaching parents how do we utilize attachment and bonding, but also, guidelines and limits and boundaries, and teaching parents that fine balance, right? And how do we cope through these family traumas too? So family interventions are part of those, EMDR is part of that, and then as you can see, play therapy. So at Ascent, a big piece of our priority is trying to create an environment where there's pro-social activities, pro-social people, so we can just plant these seeds of resilience in kids. And really, I say at Ascent, but really we're doing that at the adult sites too. We're taking our, at Chess, the site that's for elderly and medically vulnerable and maybe people with more complex mental health needs. We're taking them out to the pumpkin patch on Friday. So we're trying to do these positive activities with every age. And I'm saying 0 to, I can't remember the oldest person we've had. Do you? 80 something, yeah. Because we do have some, I know I'm running out of time, but we do have some infant programs for parent-child infant programs too. So that's pretty neat. So I'm gonna fly through some of this stuff. Let's see here. Oh yeah, so psychiatric treatment. So I was gonna, so these are the diagnoses, the top diagnoses that our medication prescribers are treating. So on the left, that's gonna be the youth and adolescent numbers, and on the right, that's the adult. The interesting thing is they're flip-flopped, and so what I mean by that is ADHD for adolescents and youth is 35%, and then on the right, it's just that tiny little line under adults. Adjustment disorders, that's when somebody is experiencing stressors and mood stuff because they have an adjustment that they're going through, or let's say some parents got divorced, so because of that I'm feeling sad. They may not have depression, but they're going through depressive symptoms because of an adjustment. That's adjustment disorder. 20% of kids and 13 of adults. Anxiety, we have 17% of kids and 14 adults. Depression, 21% of kids and 23% of adults, and trauma, smaller number there for kids and pretty large number for adults. And then at some point I thought I had a different slide, but that's okay. So average length of treatment here is, let me look at this is cut off on the bottom. So for mental health adults, that's that left column there. You can see roughly just shy of 2 years, we're seeing people for mental health for youth. There's a little bit over 2 years. And then our substance use treatment is the right columns there. And by design, those are a little bit of a shorter episode. So substance use for adults is the next one. And that's just right at a year. And then substance use for youth is just right there under a year. And then this is numbers for engagement. So 81% of, looks like mental health youth are still engaged at the 60-day mark. And mental health for adults is 61%. Did you want to talk about this slide, Frank? Okay, so let's see here. So this is a diagram that shows the kind of like staffing mix we had. I kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but we do have a pretty broad breakdown of different types of staff, which is really awesome because we each provide something different, right? So our peer counselors provide that lived experience, that hope. Our therapists provide that evidence-based trained intervention. Our psychiatric providers provide the medication and all those different things. So these are just the number of different staff we have in each of those roles.
But notice only the care coordinators, speak back up, only the care coordinators are ones that don't do any treatment, but they work coordinated, but everyone else, and we gain two staff a month.
Oh yeah.
200 clients every month.
Yes, the need doesn't stop. Like we're always growing and always looking for staff because the need is not stopping. So yeah, 2 FTEs per month to meet that need. And Frank was saying our care coordinators are kind of the behind the scenes. They're kind of like that coordinating people's calendars and just making sure things are flowing easily and nicely for our clients. And then I think there's one more slide after this.
That's going to go back to the 3 hours a month for mental health, 10 hours a month for substance. You just say.
Let's see here. This is the average. Is that average per?
Yeah, average per month. That's the amount of hours.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So on average, we have different levels of care for our both mental health and substance use clients, right? So it depends on what level they're assessed at. But on average, they're getting about 3, is that the right stat? Yeah, 3 hours a month. Some people could be getting 1, but some people with really complex mental health needs might be getting 15. Yep, and which is important to know because there's a lot of, like I was saying, how utilization of emergency departments and incarcerations, and there's other residential inpatient programs that are very costly, like that CLIP. I don't know if you guys have heard of the CLIP program, but we're like a step down from these more restrictive environments that are really costly. So we're making a difference in the community, but then also saving the tax dollars a little bit. So, and then, yep, so that kind of, again, that's that slide. And yeah, we do offer such a wide range of intervention, like I said, just from group to the intervention, the individual interventions. We provide hope through peer counseling and all that stuff. So, yes. Yeah, good question. Well, we do have that Lewis County site. So we do have an actual Lewis County site up there. And we are allowed to take people within the state. So, yep, it's typically Cowlitz. Yeah. If people were doing telehealth or something like that, that would be an easy way for us to access someone that lived a little bit outside. And then Lewis County, that can be, we do a little bit more telehealth because people are a little bit more rural. So we do have to utilize that. But, yep, within the state. Yeah, but, yeah, any others? We're out of time. Thank you guys. Sorry, we always run over. Gosh dang it.
I am really sorry that we just really don't have time, so.
That's okay.
But we have here for you, we have one for you. We have new glasses this year. We have, yes. So there you go. And again, thank you as always. It's always a joy to have you guys.
Thank you.
Okay, and we're gonna run through these announcements real quick. Greg first.
Okay. So yes, Greg, I went through it.
As fast as I can.
President Sharon Fellow Lions, tomorrow morning, John, tomorrow morning, between 9 and 9:30 over at the County Event Center, we're helping United Way with Power of the Purse, helping to get everything set up. We've got quite a few signed up. That's tremendous. If anybody else would like to come over. In the past couple of years that we've been there 2.5 hours, we should be able to even finish it faster. So, oh yeah. Oh, no, that's not open. Yeah.
Come in on 7th Avenue. We figured that out.
Okay, I'm just gonna pass this.
Queen Lion Sharon, fellow Lions guests. The meeting this month at Ashtown has been canceled. So we're gonna do that on the 3rd, believe it's 3rd Thursday of the month. Right, November the 20th. Also, we're doing the trick or treat at the fairground, at the lake. And I'm gonna haul the little wagon over there. And
Which wagon?
the little wiener wagon. Also, I want to thank everybody.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my land.
Oh, my, what an improvement.
This looks just like Greg.
Turned it around.
No. Then I'd look like Hal. Okay, I want to thank everybody for the candy. You have one more week to bring it in. And I still need more because we have about 5,000 to 7,000 kids and their parents that show up. And anyway, Bob, it's your birthday tomorrow, isn't it?
Oh.
Sorry to bring that up.
Oh, I think we have time.
Yeah, we have time, shall we?
Oh, shall we? Yes.
We shall. Happy Yay. And before in closing, I would just kind of like I did last week, a little put together of a few different quotes. It's okay to reach out for support. Asking for help is a sign of strength, not weakness. There is no shame in seeking professional help. You don't have to go through this alone. Love yourselves and have a great week. Thank you.